in the drafting of the current constitution, the national current constitution. So His Excellency is saying, I'm a constitutionalist. I will abide by the constitution, which limits presidential terms, and I have no intention of serving beyond 2028. This will come as sad news to you, but please don't stone the messenger.
Can't be talking about 2020, 30 before understanding where 2030 comes from. So 2030 was basically a policy document that is going to achieve certain goals in Zimbabwe. Basically, the overall goal was to achieve Zimbabwe into an upper middle class income country. So basically, one of the things was to have a GDP per capita of 5,000. But above other things, it valued the most constitutionalism and actually encouraged Zimbabweans to actually rally behind and protect and defend their constitution from any manner of abuse. This document, Mnangagwa claims to have drafted it himself. So basically, looking for ways to make sure that the judiciary, the legislative, and the state itself is actually accountable and everyone follows through the constitution of Zimbabwe. The 2030 policy document was not written for you. It was written to actually confuse other factions within ZANU-PF that Emmerson Mnangagwa was visionary and had better things to offer than his predecessor Robert Mugabe. But they were also taken for a ride. Hence, that's why you see a lot of audios that are opposing 2030. But Wicknell ruined it all for him for that 2030. Now, I'll explain why. Before we talk about anything else, we need to understand what's at stake here, right? So there is the ZANU-PF National People's Congress that is happening in 2027. And the National People's Congress was the one that was supposed to decide who is the presidential candidate of ZANU-PF in 2028 elections. Now, this became difficult with the issue of Wicknell Chivayo actually tainting ED's image and him being seen as corrupt and getting all these benefits of ED. Now, Emmerson Mnangagwa understanding that first he attempted to use ZEC to whitewash it to pretend like they're investigating Wicknell Chivayo, while he got rid of the two other criminals that were actually exposed to audios, which is Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu. But now the issue of 2030, it didn't do much to resolve that issue. So he tries to force the Bulawayo Conference or the provinces to buy them out to actually endorse him. But it was too risky at the time to actually endorse the 2030 slogan at the Bulawayo Conference because one, the military generals, not the military generals as such, but the veterans were also there, the people that are angry at him for basically the 2030 slogan. We see Emmerson Mnangagwa backing down saying that he's a constitutionalist and he doesn't want to go beyond 2028. He says that even in China. But now another issue is that we are starting to see a scared Emmerson Mnangagwa, a cornered Emmerson Mnangagwa that is trying by all means to actually fight for ED 2030 by all means, even if it means to have things done outside parliament. That includes the cricket farm invitation of what is this his opposition members to actually speak about the extension of the term and rushing to have that resolution actually be called on. The rushing of the resolution to be called on is actually trying to show that the other faction of ZANU-PF that they've been defeated to try to appeal as if you're the good guy or the bigger guy in that you have won within that resolution. I mean, believe me, couldn't it have made sense for the 2030 mantra to be sang in 2026 rather leading into 2027? In that case, it would have helped ED to actually be picked out as the presidential candidate for this 2030 mantra. But no, it's getting sang in 2024 leading to 2025. That shows you how scared Emerson Mnangagwa is and how quick he wants this to get through before 2027. Another thing is that you do see that they are even trying to avert from having general elections in Zimbabwe in 2028 and rather pushing for a national dialogue. And given the Sengezo Shabangu as your opposition leaders, you can be rest assured that the whole parliament will be full of Mnangagwists or the Mnangagwa factions will all be there. And that's basically excluding those that are busy shouting. And you also saw that Emerson Mnangagwa tries to do reforms, especially when it comes to the people that are responsible for for the law enforcement, like the general banders and removing the police heads and the chiefs and stuff like that. That's why you see that Mnangagwa is working overtime to change all of these things so that it can make it smooth and a pathway for his 2030. But unfortunately, in this case, Emerson Mnangagwa is doing so from a scared place, or rather from a place that is rushed, and from a place where he is not feeling like he is, where he is feeling like he has to finish it, he has to rush it, and he's not in total control for what happened. If you remember, Comrade Nokaima Bunu, my favorite comrade in ZANU-PF, said that he shouldn't actually reach February, and Clive said that they are not reaching 2026. And Mnangagwa is hearing all of those things. And Mnangagwa is trying to write, he's trying to beat them at their game. Now it's a matter of time for Emerson Mnangagwa. Now, will 2030 actually happen? No, I don't think so. I don't think it will happen. Mnangagwa is playing a scared cat here. And if Mnangagwa is not careful, we might end up jumping the Mozambican border again. He might end up actually even running away from Zimbabwe again. Because for the first time, if the faction of ZANU is not satisfied, ZEC will stand as weak in the referendum to actually implement the 2030 thing. And it actually brings the Zimbabwean society against him. Mnangagwa does not have support here and is begging for it in any part of society. The 2030 plan will not get through and will not go through. That is our promise, and that we are telling you for sure. Don't be